Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the United Board meeting. It's our monthly meeting, and we're so glad you're here. We will just go over some rules of the road in a bit, but first, we're calling the meeting to order, and then we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, and Director Bravada will lead us in that. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. Oh, that's fine. Thank you. Thank you. Well, we need to acknowledge the media, and that is that our meeting is being recorded for Village TV. Some people at home are watching us right now. Some will watch on the repeats. In order to get started, we need the approval of the agenda. Are there any revisions to the agenda, or does it stand?
Madam Chair?
Fine.
Madam Chair, I have a question of privilege.
All right.
This meeting consists of two sessions, an open session and a closed session. And in the closed session, I think there's an item there under new business that's in violation of the Open Meeting Act. It's a discussion about governance. It doesn't fit the criteria for a closed session. And the closed session, people, if you go to the Blue Book, it itemizes 7 instances on page 33. And then you go down to page 144, 4935. The issue that they want to discuss in closed session should be an open session so the residents can be part of the discussion. And it does not fit. It's in the closed session under new business.
It is the one on regarding
Sage technology.
sound.
It doesn't belong in closed session because it's governance. It has nothing to do with litigation, contracts with third parties, member discipline, personnel matters, meet with counsel, to meet with to discuss delinquency or decide whether to foreclose. There's nothing to do with that. So we're in violation of the Open Meeting Act.
That's 9A. 9A.
So you are requesting that this be taken off the closed session, put on the open session.
Yes.
And under new business. And so when you say an order of privilege, do we need to vote on that, Tony?
No. You can interrupt. There's no second. There's no amendment, there's no debate, and there's no vote.
That's what I thought. Okay, then this will come forward, and we will put it on in new business. And let's see, it would be HIJKL, that would be 12L.
Oh, will that be able to be done?
We'll have to reach out to staff on this one as well, but I don't see a problem with that. However, this should have been brought to our attention during your agenda prep meeting when you had the ability to do that instead of waiting till right now.
Okay.
It was brought up in agenda prep meeting, but I don't know who decided to put it on closed session.
Yes, I agree with Tony. It really is not a closed session issue. I think we were just trying to find a spot for it to be heard. I know other people think that it is, but it's not debatable. It's now after K.
And where will that be?
That will be after new business, HIJKL. It will be the new L.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. Okay, with that, do we have approval of the agenda? Thank you, Kathy. Is there a second? Tony is the second. All right. Now, we've had a chance to look at the meeting minutes from December 8th through January 2nd. Are there any issues that we need to address on that, or can we pass it as is?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I hate to be the person causing trouble here, but on the one we had on January 2nd, after we adjourned the meeting, business was conducted, staff asked the chair for something, the chair responded. So I don't see where that's in our minutes for that day.
Do you remember what it was?
No, staff maybe, because staff asked the chair for something after we had adjourned the meeting.
It's listed on the meeting minutes, I believe in red, bold. It should
Okay.
be there. Let me double check.
Okay. While we're doing that, I am standing in for the president, Charlie Prater, this morning, and I'm Sue Kwong. He's been working diligently for you, but was just unable to attend the meeting this morning. He hopes to be able to attend the meeting this afternoon.
There's a portion on those minutes that say following the conclusion of the meeting. President Prater indicated that as Wendy Kirchick submitted her application first, she'll receive the term ending in 2028, and Jonathan Bustani will receive the term ending in 2027. So it's listed that this statement occurred at the after the conclusion of the meeting.
Okay.
Item 8.
Page 2 of 2, agenda item 5E.
Okay. All right, so I think we have that covered, so there are no revisions that are needed, as I see it. Do you agree, Director Liberatore?
Yes.
Okay, so can I get approval of the meeting minutes?
I'll approve.
Okay, Kathy, and second,
Blackbrook.
Maggie, and all in favor? Aye. Okay, that passes. Report of the chair. There are a number of items that we have, and first of all, we have 2 new board members, and one of them is Jonathan Bustani, and I'd like him to just introduce himself very briefly.
Good morning. My name is Jonathan Bustani. My background.
Push the button, the middle button.
Turn it on.
Oh, it is on.
Hello, hello.
It was on.
It is on?
No, it was. Push it again. There we go.
How's that now?
Oh, very good.
There we go. My name is Jonathan Bustani. My background is retired Air Force. After retirement, I joined the medical industry on the design of equipments. I have a couple of engineering degrees as well as MBA in the business and management. And I've been involved with constructions and planning the sites and buying equipments and putting factories together, as much as $200 million projects. And I'm very excited to join this group. We moved in with my wife and I about 1.5 years ago, and it has been very, very delightful so far, and we love this village. So I'm here to do all I can to be a voice of all of you, as much as I can to support you and listen to you and hopefully improve what is already a great place to live. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Welcome. We also have a new member, Wendy Kirchick, and she is not here. I don't believe she's on Zoom. I don't see that. But she is an attorney and has extensive experience working on HOAs. So we are very glad to have her join us as well. We have 2 openings. We still have 2 openings on our board, and we need good people to step forward and help us with this. This is a serious business. It's $77 million that we're responsible for, and we need people to step up who can help us. And you learn on the job. So please consider it as we go along. Please talk to your neighbors and friends. That's how we got Wendy. Charlie caught her walking on the Aliso Creek Trail, and she's a very welcome addition. So we wanted to talk about that. We also would like you, if possible, to please stay for the Village Management Services interview. They are our property managers, and they're very important to how our system works. They handle all the employees and make sure that our service level agreements are conducted in a timely and efficient manner. So that's important. There are 3 people vying for this position, there's one opening. So for those 2 that do not get it, please consider the United Board. We could use your expertise and your help if you are so interested. I would like to have our board members look at their committee assignments. These are still tentative. Because we are still too short on our full board, we will again have revisions, as we normally do throughout the year. You know, you try to put people in where they want to be and their skills align. So we are going to do things a little differently. We have 2 committees that control a significant amount of our money. And so we are going to go from 3 members on that committee to 5 members on that committee. And I think that will give us better education and understanding of our issues. And oftentimes, many of our members are in the audience listening. They might as well be up on the dais learning and helping in those decisions. The same thing will occur for the Revenue Committee. Then I would like to just do a quick coyote update. I know that people are very concerned about the coyotes. I am too. The majority of us are concerned about the coyotes. This is a very difficult thing to handle. There's personal responsibility of the residents. That means no feeding the animals, no calling to the animals, that sort of thing. And that's happening. So please stop that. There's also, we are working with the City Council. We had a meeting with them, I think it was September 29th, and they agreed to do some things. As of that time, they have abated 14 coyotes, and they will continue to do abatement as the danger is there. So please don't make it worse by feeding the animals. That's really important. And keeping your pets on a 4 or 6 foot leash, that would be very helpful. We will continue to work with them. It is not a forgotten issue. It's something that's on our minds all the time. With that, we will turn to the open forum. And at this time, only members may address the Board of Directors regarding items on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of the Board of Directors. The board reserves the right to limit the total amount of allotted times to 30 minutes. A member may speak only once during the forum. Speakers may not give their time to other people. No audio or video recording of the attendees, and no rude or threatening comments. And members who are listening at home can use the Zoom link that's found on our agenda in the governing documents section on the website. They also may call 1-669-900-6833. 1-669-900-6833. And if you prefer an email, if you don't want to speak, just shoot a quick email to meeting@vmsinc.org. Meeting@vmsinc.org. And now we were going to do past responses. Is that correct?
No, we're going to go through the member comments right now, then when we're done, we'll go past
Okay,
response.
all right. Well, let's start with the member
So
comments.
our first speaker is Chris Collins.
Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Chris Collins, 3306Q, and I'm here with another update on the work of the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village, which we do on behalf of residents who are experiencing temporary financial crisis. Thank you. 152 is the holiday number you are helping, or you help. 152 is the number of village residents that needed a helping hand and received holiday cheer this year because of you. This is possible because of the many village residents, clubs, churches, and service groups who have supported the foundation of Laguna Woods Village during 2025. Working with social services and South County Outreach, the foundation is providing grocery cards to each one of the 152 so that they can enjoy a holiday meal. For them, the meal would probably not have been possible without your support. Your generosity also fueled a remarkable 28th year for the foundation. Because of you, we are continuing to deliver emergency financial assistance to residents in need. Things like grocery cards, Meals on Wheels, scholarships for Alzheimer's daycare services, transportation to the food pantry, fall prevention classes, emergency response devices for fall risk residents, hearing aid financial assistance. This past year, the foundation also initiated a new public education program, which we called Planning for the Unpredictable. This is to help residents become emergency prepared. With VMS support, we developed newspaper and email announcements and a special emergency preparedness brochure. There were public service announcements and televised interview series. In addition, we continue to support the Good Neighbor program, which is to encourage club activities to bring residents together and build community. We want to extend particular thanks to these generous clubs, groups, and religious organizations who have provided special support during the past year. Some of them are the Agape Indonesian Fellowship, Ceramic Casters Club, Chicago Club, Chinese American Club, Friends of Bridge, Joyful Christian Church, Men's Golf Club, Needlework Club, Potters and Sculptors Club, Republican Club, Rock and Rollers, RV Wheelers, Sewing Supers, the Bocce and Social Club, Table Tennis Club, Taiwanese Club, Village Macintosh Club, and the Women's 18-Hole Golf Club. So what are you grateful for? Well, at the foundation of Laguna Woods, the answer is clear. It's you and the incredible support and generosity that defines our community. Every gift, large or small, makes our community stronger. So as we look toward the new year, we celebrate simple truth that guides everything that we do. It's neighbors helping neighbors. And if you'd like more information about the foundation or you'd like to donate, you can do it at lagunawoodsvillage.org, which is our website, or email foundationlwv@gmail.com. That's a new email address. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you,
Our
Chris.
next speaker is Juanita Skillman.
Good morning.
Good
I'm
morning.
here on behalf of the History Center. And today I would like to debunk a couple of rumors and false knowledge out there about the History Center and our village. First and foremost, the History Center is not a GRF amenity. It is a separate corporation that is on GRF land that we lease from GRF. The building was designed and paid for by the History Center, not from anybody's dues. It's a completely separate organization. And people think it's an extension of the library. It's not. Believe it or not, it's a separate building. And the other thing is Clubhouse 6. There's a lot of rumors have always been around about Clubhouse 6, that it was Cortese's home, that it was this or that or the other. Well, Clubhouse 6 was never a private residence, and no member of the Cortese family ever lived there, despite resident gossip to this contrary. Looking into this, I found some really interesting information, and this is why the History Center is so important. You look up these things and you find things that are just out of this world. In 1974, Rossmore Corporation started something called Vacation Village. They had 70 new but unsold manors that they completed and furnished to accommodate prospective buyers that got to stay there for up to a week. They also used it to and extended it to political, financial, and socially prominent VIPs that were meeting with the Rossmore Corporation, who at that time had their headquarters in what is now the Taj Mahal Medical Building, regarding planning leisure world developments in other parts of the U.S. They discontinued the vacation village program a year later in 1975. It never really took off. And Clubhouse 6 was then sold to the Golden Rain Foundation. And it was completely remodeled in 1999 and is the building that we have there and pool today. So there's always interesting facts about our village. Please come by the History Center any day from 11 to 1, or you can make an appointment for another time, and they're happy to accommodate you. You would be absolutely amazed at all of the things that we have and the information that you can gild at the History Center. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very interesting.
Next speaker is Patricia Clover.
I want to thank you for having us. We're here to represent the residents that lost a lot of items in the carport fire on September 5th. And first of all, I'd like to thank Charles Prater for being there for us, for giving us contact information, and keeping us up to date. My husband and I have been struggling with transportation. We were not responsible for the fire. We did lose our golf cart, which was his major transportation. So we're anxious to find out when this project will be completed approximately and have another correspondence like Charles gave us. So that's basically why we're here, unless my husband has something else.
We thank everybody that's been working on the project. And we saw it start underway on the 8th of January, so it started, and that's an encouragement for us.
Yes.
But we'd like to find out what the end date is, the projected end date, and be kept up to speed on if there's any variances that are going to occur. So I think that's about it.
That's about it, but thank you for your...
Thank you for coming forward. That was a terrible tragedy. I'm so sorry you lost
Thank you.
your
And many,
items.
many residents lost their cars, and they had to replace them, and they were not replaceable, some of them. So
Right,
thank you very much.
right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is Steve Leonard.
Good morning.
Morning.
I was asked to appear today by Stephanie Roth, the owner of Unit 696D. I am a co-occupant. She asked me to attend concerning the deteriorating conditions in the manor, specifically various problems with the concrete slab. Stephanie and I originally acquired the manor in 2012. She removed the existing carpeting and flooring, had the concrete pad professionally floated, color stained, and sealed for a more contemporary look. There have been a dozen instances of sewer line backups, other moisture issues in the unit. Significant floor cracks have appeared in the living room, kitchen, and bedroom and hallways, some up to 8 feet long. Beneath this Madrid Model D unit, all the waste lines converge from the A, B, and C units before running out to the main sewer line. VMS has been out at least a dozen occasions, clearing backup stoppages since 2012, and PRS relined the waste lines under the unit years ago. Last year, PRS made another visit that lasted for 2 days as they rerouted mainline piping under the unit so that its access was through an exterior wall of a neighbor's unit. Since this problem began, bubbles have developed in the bathroom and the bedroom concrete floor surfaces and have broken open. Concrete cracks also emerged in other rooms. In a recent visit by VMS staff responding to yet another backup 2 weeks prior, in the guest bath, the floor broke open and a brown line crack appeared. Bubbles in the floor surface continue to rise and break open, and more cracks continue to develop. Stephanie has incurred visits for moisture intrusion only to be left with no answers. Plumbers have been out with moisture meters to check for water in the wall, and of course there is none when they finally arrive. Mold behind toilet baseboards has been an issue. When she asks workers to assess what has happened, they look at the floor and say, without saying directly that, we don't know, it's not our problem. A visit to the help desk at the administration center resulted with the oft-used phrase alteration. However, these areas of concern have nothing to do with the manor alterations, and the original water supply lines in the unit are in questionable condition. Stephanie's observation is that these issues began in earnest after the most recent installation of new sewer line sleeves by PRS, which have not cured the backups and have resulted in more damage to floors and walls. Stephanie requests United take all measures to cure the problems, and she be reimbursed for having the floors professionally repaired. I have a copy of her November letter, work orders, PRS emails, photos, and estimate for floor repairs. Stephanie wishes that all communications go through me, as she works full-time, and I am more familiar with the United and VMS operations. Thank you.
What was the unit number?
696D.
I'm sorry, 696?
D
D as in David.
D as in donut?
And I will leave you with all the materials.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and next speaker is James Schaefer.
Good morning. I was encouraged to make this comment by the board president that I talked to last week at the town hall. I wish to speak about the Ting internet installation, and I want to make this as clear as possible. I'm not objecting to the installation itself, the wiring, the putting the whatever necessary equipment into the units is. I'm not objecting to any of that. I understand that it's necessary to do all this at once. As a matter of fact, I've been in 2 condos now where this very process has happened. The local telecom has come in and swapped out the coax with fiber optic lines. But what I am objecting to is the fact that I am going to be required to buy this internet service from Ting, whether I want it or not. And it just blows my mind that I am being told I'm going to have to buy a service from a private for-profit corporation that is going to cost me $780 a year that I can't use. So that's my comment. I really strongly object to the mandatory purchase requirement for the internet, and hopefully, I realize the contract's already been signed. The chances of this being rectified is poor, but I wanted to get it on the record that that there's some of us out there don't like this. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Okay, our last speaker is John Beckett.
Good morning.
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 I'm here on behalf of the Good Government Club. The club's mission is to improve communications between the residents, their boards, and village management. We also like to improve communications between new directors and experienced directors. The club's next meeting will be dedicated to helping new directors locate reliable sources of information. For example, the Secretary of State's website, Ledge Info, is a reliable source of information. It's up to date, it's searchable, and it has the full text of every law in the state of California. Our next meeting is on January 23rd at 10 a.m. in Clubhouse 1, Dining Room 3. I brought each of you an invitation. New directors are invited to come and ask questions. Experienced directors are invited to recommend reliable sources of information. We look forward to seeing you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Does that conclude the open comments? Okay. Do we have any responses to the open forum speakers at this time? Yes.
I would like to address the question about when the carport construction will be completed. As the speaker indicated, demolition started last week. It will be completed in the first quarter, so by the end of March at the latest. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And staff will research the areas that you talked about and get back to you. And then we will also hear their responses at the following month, but you'll be directly contacted. So thank you. Okay, response to past open forum speakers. Let me pull that up. Okay, Janet Diaz. She told about a report rodent activity in their carport causing damage to vehicles, and that their bait boxes are not effective. So the outcome was staff investigated the rodent issue the same day. Sorry, my doctor's office is calling me and I'm trying to get them to say I can't talk to you. Staff investigated rodent issue the same day on 11/13/25 and reported back to the residents via email that they went out to the carport and replaced the 2 bait stations located in that carport and one near the trash bin with the newest rodent trap technology that will allow us to track activity and collect data in real time. General Services staff also went out and inspected the area and the organics bin. They did not identify a better location and did feel the bins were clean and the lids were closed. Okay, Kathy Bravado, Director, raised concerns regarding the do not enter sign at cul-de-sac 85. The sign is blocked by parked vehicles, causing drivers to enter the one-way area incorrectly. She made some requests of the staff and wanted them to get back with her. Staff visited the site and determined that the sign is at the correct location and is sufficiently angled for clear visibility. However, the sign is installed too low. The height should be at least 7 feet up from the curb. The sign has been replaced on a taller pole on 12/11/2025. All right. Now we'll move to the CEO report. CEO Foster, will you give us your report?
Yes, please, Honorable First Vice President. It's my pleasure to give the board and our audience an update on some key items and reminders from our community. I'll ask Paul to put some slides on the screen, please. I'm going to start with a reminder that the last landscaping services Christmas tree pickup will be this Friday, which is Friday, January 16th. Discarded trees are ground into mulch and used in shrub beds and slopes throughout the community. Please contact Resident Services at residentservices@vmsinc.org or 949-597-4600 48 hours prior to placing the tree by the curb. As an update on the Ting Fiber project, the project has exceeded year-end goals for pre-wiring and installation, and this is shown on the screen before you. In terms of pre-wire, we are favorable by 210 installations, and then installations are favorable by 53 at year end. So we're a little bit ahead of the milestone set for the project as of year end. On the next slide is a look ahead. Pre-wire and installation milestones for the next 4 quarters are shown on the screen. I should add that installations were not intended to progress at a uniform rate. The phased approach is designed for initial issue resolution and process refinement, followed by planned scale-up in subsequent quarters. So you will see that almost 2,300 installations are planned for Q1 '26 and 4,000 for Q2 in 2026. Additional installation teams are being deployed to support the increased volume. With the new year and the anniversary of the LA fires, we want to encourage residents to enroll in OC Alerts and Everbridge. OC Alert is Orange County's official emergency alert system that sends countywide alerts by phone, text, and email. Laguna Woods Village Everbridge is used for village-specific alerts, and this covers gates, closures, traffic, and community instructions. It does relay major alert OC messages with added village details when necessary. Residents should enroll in both for full coverage. To enroll, visit lagunawoodsvillage.com, scroll to the footer at the bottom, and click Sign Up Today underneath the Alert OC and Everbridge logos. Locally, we want to remind residents about residential fire safety. Unfortunately, the village has experienced 3 stovetop fire calls within the last 30 days where OCFA had to respond and put out these stovetop fires. Fortunately, there was no structure damage, but we just want to use this opportunity to remind residents to be safe when using their stovetops. Pictured on the screen are photos from these recent fire responses. Fire extinguishers can help fires from escalating if you have the right kind at the right place and at the right time. We encourage residents to keep one near their kitchen, where most common house fires start. You may want to store another near the home exit to aid a safer getaway if flames are close to the house entry points. Per the Orange County Fire Authority, multi-purpose ABC extinguishers are recommended for home use. A means the device can extinguish fires from wood, cotton, and cloth. B means it fights fires from flammable liquids like cooking sprays. And C will extinguish fires resulting from live electricity. Orange County Fire Authority encourages you to use the PASS technique for using fire extinguishers. This means P, pull the pin. A, aim at the base of the fire. S, squeeze the lever slowly. And S, sweep from side to side. Please visit ocfa.org for fire extinguisher and home safety information. There's an instructional video on how to use a fire extinguisher and many safety programs and documents available in various languages, including Chinese, English, Farsi, Korean, Spanish, and Vietnamese. And always call 911 and ensure you have a clear exit route before using an extinguisher. Similarly, I want to conclude this morning with tips on avoiding mail scams. Be on the alert for fake delivery notices. This is known as smishing or phishing. Emails or texts pretending to be USPS or FedEx asking you to pay a small fee or update details for a missed package, often with malicious links. There is government impersonation, scammers posing as IRS, Social Security, or law enforcement, demanding immediate payment for fake debts, often using threats of arrest. Prizes and sweepstakes, letters promising large winnings, but requiring upfront payments for taxes or processing fees. Also be on the alert for phony inheritance or lottery emails or letters from foreign officials or lawyers promising vast sums if you pay initial fees. Brushing scams are receiving unsolicited packages with cheap items from unknown sellers to generate fake positive reviews. Grandparent and emergency scams, letters or calls claiming a loved one is in trouble and needs immediate funds, gift cards, or wire transfers. Glue traps involve thieves placing sticky rodent glue, traps, or other sticky substances inside the USPS blue collection boxes to snag mail, especially checks, gift cards, etc., as they fall in. To protect against mail scams, shred all mail. Do not click links. Avoid suspicious email and text links. Go directly to official websites instead. Never send cash or gift cards. Verify by calling back. If a call seems official, hang up and call the organization using an official number. Experts also encourage that you take mail directly to a postal worker at the post office. Deposit mail in newer high-security collection boxes with narrow slots, not the pull-down doors. Drop mail as close to the final pickup time as possible. Use gel pens or permanent markers to write checks, as they are harder to wash. Pay bills online or sign up for direct debits to avoid mailing checks. And you can file complaints with the FTC at reportfraud.ftc.gov, the USPS at spam@uspis.gov, for fake USPS emails and the Attorney General. That concludes my update this morning. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Director Liberatore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to ask CEO if she could do some investigation. I notice I'm a golf cart user, and on El Toro Road from Gate 1 up to the St. Joseph's Church, there's been some paint markings on the sidewalk there. I'd like to see if they're going to do any construction there that would hamper our golf cart thing. If you could check that out, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course, I'll provide an update. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? I think we're ready to move on to the consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are recommended for action by committees and will be enacted by the board by one motion. In the event that an item is removed from the consent calendar by members of the board, such item shall be subject of further discussion and action by the board. There are not that many items. One was consistent with the statutory obligations that we review the United Laguna Woods Mutual preliminary financials for the month of November, and that review was conducted. The other is to request a variance to remove a wing wall and replace with post at a manor. The other recommendation is to initiate action on for foreclosure, and that completes what's on the consent calendar. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I move to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Okay, thank you. It was moved by Maggie, seconded by Tony. All in favor? Aye. All right, thank you. That's passed. Okay, now we need to go to unfinished business. Is Francis here, or who do we have today here? Great, thank you.
Good morning, United Board. This is agenda item 11A. I'm Blasilda, the compliance supervisor. So for the month of December, your cases have gone down. In abandoned vehicles, we went down by one. Alterations, we did go up, but in clutter, our numbers went down as well, and in landscape and in the smoking policy. So we are working with members to ensure that we are following the board-approved disciplinary process and in following all the rules and regulations that the board has passed. And we'd love to work with the residents to ensure that they're aware of the rules of United.
Thank you. Any questions for Belinda?
Just a comment. A call to resident services, a call to staff, is not a tattletale thing. It's a thing which helps us preserve the safety and the amenities and everything else, the conditions in the village. If you see something that should be notified and you don't notice, then it continues on, and your phone call might be the thing which ends a bad condition. So don't be afraid. You don't have to leave any details or give any personal report. Just call it up and report it. And we appreciate your doing that. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. All right, that concludes the disciplinary update report, and now we are on 11B, the town hall discussion. And Treasurer Murad Akisbi will do an update on what we discussed on January, just last Friday.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Our town hall meeting last Friday was a great success, as it was well attended. Folks from El Toro Water District made a presentation regarding the planned upgrade of the sewage lift station on Avenida Sevilla. It was followed by a presentation of our 2026 budget and HOA basic assessment. Our February town hall meeting will provide an update regarding the TINC project.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. And please remember that our town halls are the second Friday of the month. And we really want to see you there. Again, as Director Kisby said, is ting, and that's a big topic in our community right now. Okay, the second part of this on the town halls is we need to come up with topics for future events. So, please, let's discuss some items. I was thinking, I don't know if this would be a sleeper or not, but possibly what our service levels are for our major programs, so people know what they bought. We could always go over policies that have changed recently, or the El Toro Water Department does excellent presentations, and their last presentation in their quarterly meeting was on water in our region. And I know we are very concerned about our water and our cost of our water. So those were some items that I thought of. Do others have ideas that they would like to see for our town halls? Is there any? Yes, Director Bravata.
The only thing that I'd like to see at a town hall, and forgive me because I haven't been going to many of them, is to inform everyone about our computer center upstairs, or where they can show you how to access Ting and how to use, what do you call it? Well, when you turn the TV on, and we go to the new system, and forgive me, I can't remember, streaming or whatever it is. I don't do that, so I need to be taught how to do that. And there may be other people within our community that could benefit from that. And if that could be brought up at a town hall to explain where we can go, when we can go, so that we can learn between now and the end of the year. Okay. That would be a topic I would be interested in.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Another topic is Jim, I can't think of his last name. He is on the third board. He was on GRF, but he does presentations. Jim Hopkins. He does presentations on Laguna Woods Village and the history of Laguna Woods Village. And it's a very good presentation, and that might be something that we could do as well. Just an overview of why we're here, how it's a collective community. Should we try that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so we invite Jim Hopkinson to the March meeting? Okay. And now,
I think the water item is also an urgent matter, maybe for April.
okay, let's do that in April, because I would like to invite them to the landscape meeting.
Okay.
And have them help us. What can we do that will help to reduce our water usage?
Yeah.
I know something that drives me crazy, this is off topic, but here we go, is when I turn my water on in the morning, it goes on and on forever before you get hot water. And I think that is a common problem throughout the community. And we've got to figure out how to fix that. You can't save enough water. I'm not fast enough to get the bucket and do all of that, and I don't think other people are either. So maybe that's something we could touch on in the maintenance committee, as well as to how we could possibly address that. Okay, so March, we will have Jim Hopkins, and then we can also do updates on what's before us at the end on any policy changes. April, we'll have El Toro Water, and we are set on that topic. Shall we vote on this, or is everybody in agreement? All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. Okay.
We usually don't take any votes on that, so it's just a directive from the board. That's all.
Okay, all right. So we will get on that. We will do that. The next item is new business. And I would like to have a weather discussion, and I see Kurt here. Are you here for that, or who is going to do the weather discussion?
This was added by the board at the agenda prep meeting, so we were under the impression that the board was leading the conversation. I do have Kurt here and Manuel in the back, so can you please let us know what you would like to know?
Well, I know when it was raining so much, I saw our staff out there, VMS staff, in their trucks, and I followed them from cul-de-sac to cul-de-sac, and they diligently got out and were sweeping away, the clogged drains And I thought that was very good. We're trying to get ahead of this. I believe a tree fell by gate 5, and that was immediately cleaned up. Staff worked very hard on that. So I know it costs us a lot of money to do these things preemptively as well, to cut the trees and try to keep it so that we don't have a lot of breakage. Yes. Elsie editing.
While you're on the topic of that tree, my husband and I saw we saw the hole in the wall, or the buckle in the wall, just hours after that happened. And of course, with looky-loos, we got all excited, and we have to keep up what's going on in the neighborhood and satisfy our curiosity. So we went around and looked at where the tree had actually fallen. Oh my God, I couldn't believe how quickly and how beautifully it had been. There was no sign of the tree. I mean, obviously it had been cut. It had been moved because it had to have gone almost all the way across El Toro Road. Do you know, Sharon, did it go across El Toro Road?
It went across, yes, one side of El Toro Road into the median is my understanding from the...
It was gone. Everything was gone. The crime scene tape was up. Everything was perfect. And it was, I'd say maybe 12 hours after it happened, but we had seen it. It had already, obviously, there were no sign of workers or anything. So I got to commend, I assume that was our, commend our landscaping department and its appurtenances and its contractors, because anyway, I just wanted to share that. It was incredible.
Thank you very much. Would maintenance or landscape like to say anything, or have we covered it? Okay. All right, you're good. All right. So let's move on. Entertain a motion to approve the revision to the interior inspection of unoccupied units policy. That's on 28-day notification. Maggie Blackwell, will you please read that? It's 12B.
Okay. Oh, yes, it's a nice long one.
Yeah.
Okay. Resolution 0126XX, unoccupied unit inspection policy. Whereas unoccupied units present a number of concerns to United Mutual and shareholders, including without limitation, potential damage to the mutual's common areas, and those concerns increase the longer the unit is unoccupied. And whereas the fiduciary responsibility of the board is to protect the mutual's assets and is to the benefit of the mutual and its shareholders to inspect the condition of the units which have been unoccupied for a period of 6 months or more, or which are reasonably believed to pose potential maintenance concerns. And whereas, based on the evidence of the mutual's legal counsel and consistent with the mutual's governing documents, the mutual has the right to access a shareholder's unit at any time in the event of an emergency, and the right to access the shareholder's unit at a reasonable hour in non-emergency situations for the purpose of inspection. Now, therefore, be it resolved February 10th, 2026, that the Board of Directors hereby adopts the unoccupied unit inspection policy, and resolve further, if a unit remains unoccupied for longer than 6 months, and every 6-month period, a notification via email or mail will be sent to the unit shareholder, informing them of an upcoming unit inspection per the occupied unit inspection policy. Its notification will provide an overview of the inspection process and will include a copy of the current policy. And resolve further that except in the case of an emergency inspection, in which case the mutual or a representative thereof may enter without prior notice to the unit shareholder, the mutual must provide a second and final written notice via email or mail to the shareholder of record of each unit that is unoccupied or presumed to be unoccupied a minimum of 15 days prior to any inspection, scheduled to be carried out in a unit in accordance with this policy. And resolve further that the shareholder is encouraged to be present, but it is not mandatory. And resolve further, the mutual will conduct non-emergency inspections in accordance with said notice of inspection and charge to the shareholder any and all administrative costs and fees as set by the mutual for each inspection, including the cost of gaining entrance to the unit as may be applicable. Resolve further that if the shareholder of record of an unoccupied unit objects in writing to the inspection of said unit or specifically denies entry, the matter may be referred to the board for member disciplinary action. And resolve further within 48 hours prior to the inspection, if the shareholder does not provide a key or digital access, and there is no key on file with Resident Services Key File Program, the staff or authorized agent at their sole discretion can enlist the services of a locksmith. The member is responsible for the cost of these services, and to resolve further to offset administrative costs associated with processing and performing unoccupied unit inspections. The Board of Directors of this corporation hereby adopt the unoccupied inspection fees in the amount of $276 per inspection. So don't forget it. Don't ignore it. The member is responsible for all costs associated with the inspection, and resolve further that additional costs may be charged to the member for any required services deemed necessary to complete the inspection, such as services of locksmiths when there is no key on file, and to make any emergency repairs. And resolve further, the inspector must identify and note conditions within each inspected unit in a written report, which shall be provided to the shareholder by emailing or mailing the report to the shareholder's contact information as provided in the mutual's records, and facilitate the maintenance or remediation of adverse conditions identified to protect against damage to mutual property, common area damage, or nuisance to neighboring units and shareholders. The shareholder will have 30 days to cure the adverse conditions. If not remediated within that 30-day period, the mutual, at their sole discretion, may perform such remediations as a chargeable service, and resolve further that necessary emergency maintenance or repairs, meaning those that are required to prevent imminent damage or injury to persons or property, identified in the inspection, will be carried out by the mutual or authorized agent as a chargeable service in accordance with the mutual governing documents, and resolve further that necessary emergency maintenance and repairs that are the responsibility of the mutual will be carried out at the mutual's expense, and resolve further that the resolution 01-1854, adopted June 12, 2018, is hereby superseded and canceled, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this corporation. This is the January initial notification. Should the board endorse the proposed revision, staff recommends that a motion be made and seconded to accept the resolution and allow a discussion to ensure that the resolution reads to the satisfaction of the board. Staff then recommends that a board member postpone the resolution to the next available board meeting no less than 28 days from the postponement to comply with Civil Code 4360. I move this resolution.
Wow.
I
Yeah,
second.
definitely, yes.
I won't read it again.
Are there any comments or questions regarding this?
Who's the second? Tony?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, go ahead, Kathy Bravada.
Okay. My only question is, on the first page where it says, whereas based on the advice of the mutual legal counsel and consent with the mutual governing documents, it says the mutual has the right to access the shareholders' unit at any time. That is strictly referring to unoccupied units, correct?
I will ask Mr. Grimshaw to come up and answer your question. please.
Hi, Alan.
Thank you.
Good morning. Hold on. No.
Please introduce yourself so people at home know you're...
Yes, certainly. My name is Alan Grimshaw. I'm the manager of the Manor Alterations Department. No, your CCNRs state that at any time the mutual can come into the manor.
That would be paragraph 2.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so then, well, I guess I'm a little concerned because we're talking about a resolution for unoccupied unit inspection policy, yet we're including the statement, which I don't object to, I mean, if there's a danger or something, but I'm just concerned that this is added in here while we're talking about unoccupied unit inspections. It's just a concern of mine that it may not be clear that for this resolution that this covers any unit, whether it's unoccupied or not. I don't know if there should be some additional wording in here that states while this resolution is for unoccupied units, it also applies to occupied units. Am I confusing the issue?
Well, for clarification, that is simply a restatement of what is in your current governing documents. For this specific policy or standard, there are 2 notifications given to the members prior to the actual inspection. And the members have appropriate time to respond or do that. So it's not a surprise by the time the inspection occurs. Again, that policy is, or the overall statement of accessibility is for concern of the United's property.
Yes, go ahead, Director Bravada.
All right. So then could we, under this resolution, put unoccupied or occupied?
No?
Would you like to move that as a discussion item? Because we really can't...
I would like to move that as a discussion item, because if people are actually reading this and it's talking about unoccupied units, while I don't disagree if there's an emergency that it should be in there, then this policy should also state that it covers occupied.
I'm sorry, Kathy, but according to Robert's rules, and that's what we follow, you make the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If there is a second, and we'll ask for a second, then we then go to discussion
All right, my
of why
apologies.
you think it's needed. So is there a second to Kathy's?
Second.
Okay, Elsie is the second. Okay, now let's move to discussion. Director Blackwell, you have your hand up?
This is specifically an unoccupied unit inspection policy. It is not simply a unit inspection policy. Okay. If it's a unit inspection policy, that's different. That means occupied or unoccupied. If this one is for unoccupied, and so it's separate because we don't have someone we can knock on the door we think somebody else is living there erroneously or whatever, or it's abandoned and there are animals in there or anything like that. This is unoccupied. And so it's not for occupied units. For occupied units, we have a whole different set of rules. We have notification and context and so on. So it's strictly for unoccupied.
Okay, Director Liberatore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Is that clearly stipulated? I only have one eye. I have a hard time reading that thing. Does it clearly stipulate that?
It says
There's no confusion about
unoccupied.
it?
Wait a minute. May we have the staff, Alan Grimshaw, please respond to that?
It is specifically stated. So we currently, there is a backlog of over 200 unoccupied manors. So when that reaches the 6-month level, it enters onto a list. We are charged then with going down that list to complete the inspections per this policy. The policy is already in existence. This is just an update clarifying the inspection processes and the fees associated with that. Does that provide?
Thank you. Okay, Director Bravata?
Thank you. Okay, then I reiterate that because this particular resolution is unoccupied units, we should, in this section, just hold it to unoccupied. Director Liberatore said there, or Director Blackwell said, we have another policy for occupied units that state we can enter if there is an issue. This one is just for unoccupied, and I think the wording should remain as unoccupied and not apply to occupied units. That's just my, my comments, because it then becomes very confusing when people are reading this, because it's stating one thing but allowing for something else that we may already have another policy for, another resolution.
No, it's already stated in your governing documents that the mutual has the right to enter the manor to protect the mutual. Since that's a separate issue altogether, this policy is based on that governing document already. We are clarifying that this is unoccupied manors. To give you an example, we do call, if a manor comes on that list, we call, and many times they are actually occupied. So then we dismiss or take that number off the list.
Okay, yes, Director Busante.
Yeah, I wonder, what are we looking for on an unoccupied unit? What are we looking for? Inspection is for the purpose of finding something. So what are we looking for?
Sure.
I think we're talking about the unoccupied unit
Yes.
policies.
Yes.
So you want to know what they're looking for when you go into the
What is the purpose of this inspection?
Okay, Elsie, would you like to say something? Director Addington.
A word picture is worth 1,000 words. Okay. Way back on my first, doesn't matter when, I was sitting on this board at a time when a known unoccupied, it's a long story, it was owned by a bank, a unit, and people walk by this every day. Well, one day they walked by it, these are other residents in the same building, and they noticed that the ceiling in the kitchen had collapsed. Okay? And nobody knew, you see, because the people who lived above, once the leak had come, and it had just gotten to be too much for the weight, and it just collapsed rather dramatically. But the people up above, they didn't know, because it wasn't leaking into their place. Nobody knew. and there was a drip, 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 drip until the whole thing collapsed. And that's why we have to inspect them. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, yes, I understand.
And that really happened.
Yeah.
I swear, Jonathan, it really happened.
We've also had, well, Alan, would you like to add to that, or has this been answered?
Just to clarify, on page 5 of 18, under item 12B, under the discussion heading, it specifies the reasons that we do an unoccupied manner inspection. I can read it for you if you like, or you can go to that.
Page 5 of 18.
Let me just go ahead.
I'm still a little bit lost. We inspect this unit, and we don't find anything, and we wait another 6 months to re-inspect, and a week or 2 weeks later, the drip gets started. Then what is the purpose of this inspection if we don't get it on time? So that's why I'm a little lost. It doesn't sound right to me. It doesn't sound right that we do 6 months, and then whatever happens in this 6 months, it's okay, and then all of a sudden we go and say, oops, okay, there is a little leak right there. But the leak doesn't happen the day that we go for inspection. It can happen anytime. So the cost and the amount of energy we are putting into this, it doesn't seem like it's doing its job. So I'm looking for.
It's much better to find the leak after 6 months than 6 years where mold has been growing.
No. I'm not saying don't inspect. I'm saying perhaps the 6 months is too long. That's what my point is.
That was one of my points.
Okay.
There was a discussion of frequency of inspections early on. It was decided at 6 months as a balance between the need and the cost and the time of doing it.
Do we have an analysis? Do we have record of what we have found within the last 5 years? That every 6 months is the best time to go and inspect? Or is just somebody grabbed the number and says, hey, let's do 6 months?
I don't know the exact discussion as to how the 6 months was arrived at, because that was in the previous
So let's do every 30 days. You know.
Okay.
I think for you to have a revolt at $276 every time. Excuse me, Paul has his hand up.
Yeah,
and
can I
then
have
we'll
Director Bravado repeat her motion again and try to simplify it into like one sentence, if you don't mind?
All right, my motion is that because this resolution 1-26-XX has to do with unoccupied unit inspection policy, I feel that it should be stated that it is strictly for the unoccupied and not
I agree.
fall
I
into
agree.
place for occupied units. That's kind of just thrown in there.
It says unoccupied.
It says.
No. It says, whereas based on the advice of the mutual legal counsel and consent with the mutual governing documents, the mutual has the right to access a shared unit, and that includes occupied. I'm on page 9 of 18 for 12B.
It says where?
And I do understand where he has listed in here the mutual's governing documents, but the title of this is unoccupied. I simply want unoccupied/occupied.
Oh, dear.
So that people who actually read this know that they're occupied. If something occurs, they're not around, that they can go in and do the inspection. Or just to change the title, because it's misleading to me.
Okay, I'd like to speak to this. I think it is very confusing to mix policies. When I used to be tasked with doing policies and procedures, oh, what fun. And when we tried to mix policies, it was like, well, then how, when you amend another policy, how do you know to go back to amend the other referencing one? So I would speak against your motion. because I think it's already done in separate areas. And to Director Bostani's question about the 6 months, it does appear that, from what we've heard, it's historical that they decided on 6 months. It was cost versus need. If you feel it should be sooner, you could make a motion, or we could task staff with perhaps looking at, do we have any records that indicate when this happens?
One of the items that was consideration is that many members are, for lack of a better term, snowbirds.
Yes.
Right.
They're gone for 2 to 3 months at a time, some even up to 4 months. So it just seemed to do it every 30 days to respond to your question would take an extreme amount of staff time and expense to do that, and an unnecessary burden on the members themselves. 6 months was arrived at as a reasonable amount of time to check on the mutual's interests.
Director Pastani.
Why can't we put this responsibility on the owner of the unoccupied and ask them, this is just an example of how we can proceed, and put the responsibility on the owner and say every 30 days, every 60 days, every 90 days, they have to fill out this form and send it. They did go inside, they looked at it, everything is fine, and send it back to us. That's just one of several ideas.
Thank you. Director Blackwell, I apologize, Maggie, I did not see
Thank you. There are golfers, there are a lot of people that are away for 6 months of the year. They lease it out to somebody else, or they leave it empty because they don't want anybody in there. Now, if we have to call, because there are a lot of golfers and other people that go back to the snow or avoid the snow, we would have to hire personnel to simply go around to all these units all the time when we don't really need to. 6 months is fine. I think it's what we have had before, and it hits, but there are quite a few people that are just here partially. The Canadians used to come down all the time, and so on. As far as making it shorter, people go on vacations for 6 months. There are bridge players that go on bridge travels for a whole year.
Okay.
I mean...
Okay, we need to talk about the motion. And I thank you for all the background information, but I think we've, Elsie, let's have that as the final discussion item, and let's vote. And then Paul has a comment, but Elsie, do you want to go first?
I only wanted to say one quick thing. I think no matter what happens with this, we need to maybe address some kind of a disciplinary process on people who don't notify us, owners who don't notify us that their places are empty. And I just throwing that out because all this other stuff is predicated on us knowing it's empty. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we don't. Often we don't because the person's passed on or they just are in the wind. Anyway, that is a suggestion. As far as my seconding of the motion, I apologize. I thought I was just seconding to open up the conversation, but I don't think I was really, I don't think I listened closely enough to what Kathy, because I was reading the wrong page.
It's okay, it's okay.
So,
it's good we had the discussion, and then we can all vote as we so fit. See fit.
Taking it back for a second?
You can't take back a second. I did that once and I got in trouble. It was like,
Oh, and I'm
that's-
not taking back the second.
You
I'm
can't
just
do that. So
Full disclosure.
if we are ready to vote on this,
We still have one member comment.
oh, please,
Marie Collins?
okay.
Jonathan's point is well taken.
It is.
There is a unit near me which has been vacant for at least 5 years, and there is a family of skunks that have moved into the patio. And sometimes the lady who lives adjacent to this unit thinks there may be rats in there. So I'm thinking that if you would consider something like the 6 months, unless there is a bona fide report by a resident or by a staff member that something should be checked. If there's a suspicion by somebody that's turned in.
Thank you very much. Well, I think we are back to the motion, and then we can discuss other motions, but we are back to the motion of whether to put in occupied. So, all in favor, please raise your hand.
We're going to do the screen, if you don't mind.
Oh,
This is for
absolutely.
Kathy's amendment.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Now, what is it?
The motion was to amend the document so that it would say unoccupied and occupied. And so I think we...
Then we just delete.
No,
Just say unit
No,
inspection
the motion
policy.
is just as the motion is, so please vote yes or no. on
So yeah,
that.
this is the amendment right now, not the real motion. So this is the amendment.
Okay, unoccupied or occupied? Oh,
Yes, that is her motion, so please,
was it seconded?
it was seconded by Elsie, and now we need our votes.
Okay, if you can all vote on the screen, please. Either use your mouse or your finger.
Jonathan, do you know how to do that?
Okay.
Sometimes it's difficult, and it just doesn't want to do it. He did it. Oh, did it pop up? Okay.
Good, thank you.
Okay,
Your mouse, Warren?
Motion fails.
I do too.
okay,
They
well,
said
I
you
don't know
can
if
use your
everybody
mouse, and
voted, but we
can't
have
get to move.
the motion, okay, the motion fails on a 6-1 vote. Okay, well, we are back to the main motion, but that does not preclude us from having other motions. I don't know, it seems like we could vote on the entirety of this and then instruct the Architectural Controls and Standards Committee to look at this again with some of the discussion that's come up.
Just to remind the board, this is...
The motion has been moved and seconded already.
Yes, correct. But also to remind the board, this is on 28-day notification, so you guys
If you
can
change your
discuss
mind,
this.
vote no next month.
Right, you guys can discuss this with staff, and then it'll be brought back again next month at the next board meeting.
Yeah, it will be brought back next month
Yes.
anyway.
It will be, but if there were other things that you can amend it at this time.
But why would we?
But we're not, I don't think people are ready to do another amendment. What that vote is, what's before us without any other amendments is,
We have a whole month to figure it out.
Can I
yes.
move that?
It's
It's
already been
already
moved.
there, we're waiting to vote.
So now-
So the amendment went after that?
The amendment was to the original motion.
Right.
We are now
Oh,
at
so-
the original motion.
Right.
We're back at the original motion.
Yes.
Which
Okay.
is on the policy for the unoccupied unit, which raises it, I think, to $276, and there we are. So, are we ready to vote?
It's not on 28 days. It already has passed the 28 days.
Is this the
It was
second?
done
No, this is on 28 days. It's
Yeah.
on new business.
January initial, okay.
Yes. Okay, all right.
You're voting on this motion
The original
for the
motion.
first time. It will come back.
Which is on 28 day or it's not on 28?
It's not, it's initial.
That's what I thought. Who brought that up?
Yeah, when it states January initial notification, it means that it's being presented originally in January, and it'll be brought back again to the board in February for final approval.
So the motion passes.
Okay, good. All right. Well, this has been thoroughly discussed. I think we understand it. Let's move on to the next, which is, and then I think we probably need to take a break. Entertain a motion to approve the United Laguna Woods Mutual Fee Review Schedule. Maggie, will you help us out with that?
This is a shorty. Okay, Resolution 0126XX, United Fee Review Schedule. Whereas the Finance Committee recommends establishing a timeline for the review of non-assessment fee analysis in effort to complete an expense analysis in a planned manner and bringing supporting fee recommendations to the board in a manner consistent with the following schedule. Reviewed frequency fee, then initial and subsequent year review. Annual review, permit fee, then a coin-operated laundry machine fee. Those are only annual fees. Biannual would be inspection fee, lease processing fee, resale processing fee, golf cart electric fee, electric vehicle fee, collective administrative fees. Those are twice a year. Triannual. Resident violations, variance processing fee, stock transfer fee, carport or carport space rental fee. Now therefore be it resolved on January 13, 2026, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby approves the fee review schedule as presented, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized to carry out the resolution as written. I move this resolution.
I second it.
Okay, Maggie has moved it, Elsie seconded. Is there any discussion on this? I think it's very clear cut. It's just, in the past, sometimes things got lost and we did not update it as quickly as we should. So that's what they're trying to prevent. So please vote. All right, that passes on a 7-0 vote. And then we're going to do one more, and then we're going to take a break before we start the introduction of the United VMS candidates. Okay, we're up to 12D. Entertain a motion to approve a letter of intended commitment for UCI's energy forecasting models.
Resolution 0126XX, letter of support for UCI research study participation. Whereas on January 14, 2025, the Board of Directors approved the Energy Subcommittee.
This is the updated one.
Just read that one, that's updated.
Okay. Resolution 0126XX, this is called Attachment 1, Letter of Commitment for UCI Research Study Participation. Whereas on January 14, 2025, the Board of Directors approved the Energy Subcommittee Charter, and whereas the Energy Subcommittee is tasked with researching potential energy-saving programs, and whereas the Energy Subcommittee has identified a research study being conducted by the University of California, Irvine entitled Socioeconomic Geographic Intelligence for Grid Net Load Analytics and Learning, Signal, in response to California Energy Commission's GFO 25303, Improving Net Load Forecasting Models by Integrating Data on Behind-the-Meter Resources, and whereas the Energy Subcommittee and the Maintenance and Construction Committee recommend the Board of Directors sign a letter of commitment for United Mutual to participate in the project as a demonstration site, Now therefore be it resolved that January 13th, 2026, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby approves the participation of the project, and resolved further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I move this resolution.
Director Liberatore.
Thank you, Madam
Do you
Chair.
second it?
You second it, yes.
Okay. All right, now we're open for discussion. Director Liberatore.
Yeah, I'm remiss. I was chair of this committee meeting, and I keep forgetting that when we hire somebody, we have to pay for them. I don't see anything on here, how much this is going to cost and where the money's coming from. Can somebody help me out? Thank you.
It's zero. We are participating in a study, and that can be confirmed. So this was, and I attended that meeting, and it was an excellent presentation by some of the advisors, and it's a wonderful opportunity for us to collaborate and get information. Would you please discuss it?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Just one question, maybe he can address it also.
Yes, absolutely.
I just want to understand what we're doing. Does this mean that we're looking into loads and time in use of appliances inside manors? We're gathering that data inside manors and then aggregating it to see how folks in the village are using electricity?
I'm not sure. Let's have our experts. We have two experts up there.
What does it mean?
Yes.
And that is an excellent question. Good morning, everyone. My name is Bart Mejia. I'm the Assistant Director of the Maintenance and Construction Department. The UCI CalPlug Industrial Assessment Center is preparing a proposal for the California Energy Commission, or CEC, and requests that United Mutual be a key demonstration partner. The mutual's participation will help develop forecasting tools that benefit all electricity customers. You should have received a revised document. That revision is in an effort to improve this proposal to the CEC and to comply with the requirements. To answer your question and to answer any other questions that the board may have, Mr. Arnold Wong, lead person for this program, is here to tell us more about the program and to answer your questions. So with that, Mr. Arnold.
Wonderful. You can help us right away with the two quick questions and then go into your presentation. Does it cost us anything?
Yes, just short answer. There's no cost or close to minimum cost in terms of this effort. So all we're asking for is the community to help us facilitate the effort of reaching out to the resident to participation in terms of indicating their usage of the electrical vehicle and solar panel, so that we can collect data from their usage to sort of validate our forecasting model. So just a little bit background. So the purpose of this proposal is it's because of the rapidly increasing adoption of the so-called distributed energy resources with a focus on the solar panel, the battery storage systems, and electrical vehicles. And those are so-called behind-the-meter resources, which is really not directly visible to the grid operator, so that it is really hard to have a very accurate forecasting for their usage. So what we are proposing is basically providing a very accurate and advanced state-of-art forecasting model utilizing our AI and machine learning expertise, so that we can help the California grid operator to have a more reliable and accurate short-term forecasting model. And the reason we're asking for this effort is usually those kind of model is really hard to validate, especially if they are forecasting something in the future. And we believe the participation from Laguna Woods Village in this research can really bring us so-called ground truth information or data that we can really validate our model by investigating the actual usage of those resources among the community. So to answer your question, the the efforts that we need from the community and the resident is basically just to participate in our survey and then show their, and for anyone show their interest in participating in the research, we will conduct their energy usage. First identify their possession of those so-called behind the meter resources, and then collect the electricity usage of those devices and equipments over a certain period of time. And that's all we need.
Yes. Director Akisby.
Do we have any residents in the village using private solar panels?
Yes, we do.
I believe there are a small portion of residents, and that's actually the question that we are going to find out. But no matter what the portion is, that will be always the ground truth, valid data, so that we can always use our model. But in our early stage communication with Bart and other relevant, actually a resident in the community who is representing, who we have collaboration in the past. He did indicate there are a certain portion of residents that owns the solar panel, yes.
All right, thanks.
Yes, Elsie Addington.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. Class of 71 at UCI. Anyway, so nobody would be, you guys aren't interested in any data or effort from people who don't use either solar panels or what? Or EV, or what's the third one?
Battery storage.
Battery, okay. So that portion of the population would be the ones participating, is that correct?
Yes, our focus will be the ones who actually own either one of those resources.
And how about golf carts? Or are you only looking at lithium batteries?
I think battery is part of the solar panel systems, because usually when people install solar panel in their houses, depending on their electricity consumption, they will recommend either to install a battery storage system in addition to that or not. So the battery part is usually equipped with the solar panel, but also for the EV side, they can sort of provide. They can sort of perform as a battery as well. So that's also we are looking for as well.
So it wouldn't be mutual wide?
I'm sorry?
It wouldn't be the whole population living in your subject group then, right? It would only be those people?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Director Blackwell.
Yes, we have, some laundry rooms have solar on them, some do not. The laundry room is, some people have laundry facilities in their unit, the others do not. So we're just taking the entire electrical thing, no matter what the thing is. Even if it's, we don't have two-story units like that, like Third does, but is it everyone? They just take the whole ball of wax?
So it is my understanding that this program applies to residential use only. What United has is commercial use, and we've aggregated those accounts. And those I do not believe will be a part of the study. It will be the population of United Mutual, and specifically those individuals that have the resources that he mentioned, where that includes solar panels, EVs, and battery storage systems.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Dr.
Yeah.
Jonathan Bustani.
Yeah, another UCI, 2014, yeah.
There we go.
You kept talking about the model, the model. So I heard the word model several times, but back to Maggie, we have a mix and matches of the electrical equipments that are inside and outside. When you talk about the model, are we talking about Laguna Woods Village, or only the residential part of it? Because as we heard, it's a separate issue of the equipments that are being used by certain people, like laundries, versus the ones like in my house. We have our own laundry inside the house. So my electricity is $2 more than, Elsie's, because she's using, So what is your model right now look like?
Is it just for residents, correct? It's not our,
So from a bigger picture, it is looking at to facilitate the scheduling and operation of the entire California grid. So we are providing the tool to the grid operator, which is the utilities.
Got it.
So in our model, we are using the utility AMI data advanced meter, infrastructure meter data as our fundamental resources. But sometimes those data can be masked or misleading. So that's why it is really important to look into a exact community area and to get collect some ground truth information out of it. So we are actually partnering with all the Southern California utilities, including Southern California Edison, SDG&E, and LADWP. And I believe Laguna Woods Village is part of the SDE territory. So when we develop our model, we will predict how the end usage for the Laguna Woods Village area is, and then at the same time we'll collect the actual information from them. So to answer your question, President, I think our focus is our research focus will more on the residential part, because that's the pattern that is more predictable. But we are happy to investigate not only the residential part but also the commercial part, because we wanna provide the California grid operator a tool that can be applicable to any type of building types and income groups and all the other geographic factors that we may consider.
Understood. Thank you.
thank you. Director Blackwell?
Yes, our landscaping department uses a lot of electricity, but that's charged over here, not individually to the manors. So are you considering that? Because that is electricity which we benefit from.
Yes, that should definitely be part of the study as well. And all we're looking for is basically trying to identify the trend and the pattern of the usage for the certain given area. So as long as which I believe the village is having a very stable user pattern and the usage pattern of those distributed resources, I think that will be a really, really valuable information for the model validation purpose.
Okay. What do we get out of this? I mean, it's wonderful to participate in studies, and we do that. But will we somehow jump to the head of the line when there's the grid updates?
Yes, of course.
Or that sort of thing?
One very important section of this project will be a development of a customer communication API. Basically, it is we work with a software API developer which can actually provide a software or a mobile app that can actually communicate between the grid and the actual end users and the customers and the residents. So basically, it's not just customer providing the data to the grid, but also they can get feedback from the grid to know the scheduling and how the larger picture of the electricity price will look like for the customer, so they can schedule their activities in advance. So in terms of the cost saving, it should be very visible to the village for sure.
Okay. And this is a voluntary program, so the residents can say, yes, I'll participate.
Yeah, of
no,
course,
I
of
will
course.
not.
So I think at the first stage, we will like to request the help from the board and the management team to help us sort of host the information session, so that we can talk about the benefit and the compensation of participating in the project, and then whoever is interested can can choose to either participate or not, and then we'll only collect data from those who are interested.
Okay, thank you. I think Elsie had her hand up before you, Maggie.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Okay, two really quick ones. One is, why did you pick us? How did we get on your radar? And also, I know you mentioned the CEC and you're doing this so I guess you're gonna submit the results of your study to the state, and that's all fine and dandy, but for what purpose? So why did you pick us, and what's the purpose of your study besides getting your postdoc? Thank you.
So I believe the reason of the collaboration is we have the connection with Laguna Woods Village several years ago. So one of our center is industrial assessment center, where we basically provide energy assessment to companies, the small to medium companies, to provide energy efficiency suggestions and to do a holistic energy assessment to the facility and identify any potential improvement. So I believe that was 2 years ago that we actually came down to the facility of the village and conducted energy assessment, and that's how we build the relationship. And then when we started to writing this proposal, we realized it will be a really great benefit, kind of distinguish us from other applicants, that we can actually add in this demonstration stage. And to do that, we have to find a very large enough scale of community, and we worked before, and we know that we know they are passionate about this kind of effort, and also they have a very stable user pattern and resident groups that we can actually collect valuable or accurate data out of it. So that's the reason that this collaboration happens.
Okay.
So the end game is showing efficiencies, developing efficiencies, and this will go to the state as well as to us, or?
Yes, so the background is this is for the California Energy Commission proposal, right? So what they are proposing is basically trying to request a standard holistic data energy forecasting infrastructure, specifically for those distributed energy resources or behind the meter resources that cannot be visible to the grid operator. So the end goal will be to provide an accurate forecasting model with the focus on predicting the behavior of those resources.
Okay, thank you. I think we need to move on.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree. Yeah.
Oh, Kathy, okay, let's do the final question, and then,
Okay, so my question, I see that we changed it from support to commitment for the proposal. What's the time frame?
Yes, very good question. Sorry, I actually forgot to mention that. So if our proposal is awarded by the Energy Commission, the start date will be June 26th, and this will be a 4-year project.
4 years.
And then the demonstration effort will not happen until late year 3, and most likely will be year 4 period. So we're talking about this specific effort involving Laguna Woods will happen in 2028 or 29.
okay, thank you. Well, I think we've had a very detailed discussion, and thank you so much for being here to present it. Bart, do you have anything else you'd like to offer before we vote?
I believe.
I'm sorry. I do not. I think he's made a good presentation, reviewed the program very thoroughly, and I'm available to assist should the board approve this commitment.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, let's vote on the proposal. Elsie, are you having trouble with yours?
I'm having trouble making up my mind.
Okay, that's fine.
So I'll just abstain.
Okay. All right, so that motion passes with 5 votes to 1 to 1. At this point, we need to take a break. I think everybody needs to just
Thank you,
stand up
everyone.
and see if their legs still work. So, yeah, so we will be back to do the VMS interviews in, what, 5 minutes? Is that enough time for people? Okay, in 5 minutes. Thank you. Okay, it is time to come back to order. And so I'll ask everybody to take their seats. And yes, so, okay. All right, here we go. We're very excited about this portion of the meeting. We have two excellent candidates. The third person that put in an application did not show, and so you can vote for Janet, but she is not here, and so we have no information regarding her on candidate statements and that sort of thing. So the first person is going to be Dorothy. And so Dorothy, will you begin with your candidate opening statement? And you have 2 minutes.
How's that? Yay, great. Thank you, everyone. It's good to see you. What I want to do is quickly share with you a summary of my professional experience, as well as my volunteer experience here in the village, in terms of my qualifications for this position. And it's an honor to be here to apply for this. My professional career spanned 45 years in corporate retail management. And I worked for billion-dollar companies, including Federated Department Stores, the Walt Disney Company, PacSun, and 99 Cents Only, amongst others. In all cases, these are companies that built their growth from customer service and guest service with the Walt Disney Company. We were always looking to focus on the customers, and particularly during my time in these companies, that they're billion-dollar companies, it was a high-growth period. My roles in these companies were across all the different types. I was in merchandising and buying. I was in legal consumer affairs, internal audit, accounts payable, planning and allocation, logistics and distribution, and IT, including process improvement, project development, and a total supply chain engineering to make sure it works with 7 different partners. So hence my 45 years were such in the corporate world. And then came heaven on earth. We moved to Laguna Woods Village and got out of that rat race. My volunteer time here in the village has been absolutely wonderful. And I'll share with you 2 different components. When we first were here, my husband and I first moved in, I was a volunteer, and these were the original things I did. I was involved actively in the Chicago Club. I chaired the travel committee. I ran our famous bus tours every month for 4 years. And I hosted the Chicago Club travel show on TV6.
I am so sorry, but we are at the 2 minutes.
Okay, well, that was quick.
It is. I'm sorry, we're running.
2 minutes already?
Yeah,
2 minutes.
Really?
There's a screen, is there not, right up here that and you can watch there on the back as well when it shows your speaker time. But
Is that my, oh, that's Maurice.
yes, and so when you do your concluding
I'll
comments,
finish the story.
You can finish. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Marie Collins. we would like to-
Okay, since you have seen my application, and most of you are familiar with my work on this United board and on the GRF board, I really don't want to waste any of this valuable two minutes extolling my accomplishments. But I want to tell you why I'm here, okay? The only reason that the VMS board exists is to oversee the VMS operations and to ensure its owners, United, Third, and GRF, that they are indeed receiving the highest quality of management at a savings equal to the anticipated profit we would have to be paying to a professional for-profit management company. I would like for the United Board to feel comfortable that VMS for each project is researching deeply into possible alternative solutions and using cost-benefit analysis in every action. If any of you have been privileged to see Chuck Holland's hour-and-a-half presentation on the computer program he is currently putting the finishing touches on. I hope you were as blown away as I was with seeing the positive effects that it will have on the VMS operations. I would like to join the current VMS board in seeing that VMS management and staff become proficient with the use of this new program as soon as possible. When they are able to use it as intended, I believe many of them will be able to save up to 15 hours a week on tasks like in-depth research that I'd like to see done that maybe we're not getting done because we don't have time, okay? All right.
I'm sorry,
so
we are at the 2 minutes.
Is that
We'll
it?
do a concluding
Okay.
statement, and then we'll go on.
Okay.
It's just a shame that we only have 2 minutes. You're
Gee.
both excellent candidates, and I apologize for the brevity of that. Due to the interest of time and the fact that Dorothy has been here before us, and we have worked with Marie on the various boards, we're going to just do one question per member.
Thank you.
So, do you want to go around, or shall we just do it by hand? Whoever is ready. Elsie, do you have a question?
I have no questions.
Okay. Rod, do you have a question?
Yes, I have a question, Madam Chair. And this is a question for both of you. In your estimation, what is the most pressing issue facing VMS today? Thank you.
Who wants to go first? Well,
I'll go first.
okay.
I think it's what I was just stating. It's not only the most important issue, but it's possibly the most important improvement that we will have seen in maybe the whole 10 years it's been here. I'm really excited about this. It will help the staff and the management answer questions they haven't been able to do, but it's always been done that way. Well, as you may know, I have to always ask why, and I have to keep asking why, and because it's always been done that way is not a good answer for me, okay? So I'm looking forward to positive improvements here in the next year or two, and I'd like to help them.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Dorothy?
I think particularly at this point, VMS is challenged to deliver their service levels with the budget they've been given. Because from a customer perspective, they have high expectations, and there's not an understanding of how we got there. And so I'm passionate about VMS because they have a big job to do, and we need to keep them moving.
Thank you. Maggie, do you have a question?
Yes. Marie, will you be in town? How often will you be leaving? I understand you are working outside of the state.
There has to be a question for both. So
All right.
this will
Well,
be a
that's
question for
a
both.
bit incorrect, okay? I take on consultation, but I do it from my condo, and I do not have time anymore to put in the hours that you people have to put in on United and that we had to put in on GRF, but I do have time for what is required of the VMS board.
Thank you. Dorothy?
Absolutely, I have no conflicts at all with the time. My volunteer work with the clubs I stepped down from, so the only two I have left are the History Center, and I do the Village Living Series once a month for VMS. So I have no conflicts whatsoever with my time.
Thank you. Okay, Tony, do you have any questions? Okay, no questions. Jonathan, do you have a question?
Yes. No. Okay. Both of you excellent candidate, no question about it. But to both of you, just a simple question. What is the one single skill set you have to offer so I can vote for you?
I think in terms of my experience, which I didn't get a chance to mention, I've already served on the VMS board. And so I understand in the past what's important, because in terms of the skill set, I'm passionate about them, VMS particularly, because I've done their jobs, I've managed their jobs, and I was a part-time staff person. I have been on VMS staff, managing the docent tours and the new resident orientations. So I've walked in their shoes, and I've watched them from afar, and I respect them.
Thank you.
Marie?
Researching issues, I can't just take surface answers. My brain just must go deeper into it. And then whatever I think is the appropriate vote to give, I will give that. What you always get from Marie is what she really thinks. Might be liking it, might not be liking it, but that's what you get.
Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our questioning period. So let's go to the candidate's closing statement. And since we started with Dorothy, let's start with Marie on your closing statement. And again, you have 2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I'll try to make this one. Okay. I'd like to get back to my beliefs and goals as one of the 3 VMS directors representing United's interests. If I join Cynthia and Manny, who are doing a fabulous job, by the way, on the VMS board representing United's interests, at least one of us will attend United board meetings to provide two-way communication. For United to have true self-management as GRF and United and Third boards intended when they incorporated VMS in 2015, United delegates need to communicate United's wishes to VMS board and conversely report to the United board how VMS is handling them. Further, I would like to see improvement in VMS management's protection of United's legal and financial position. And last, VMS cannot lower or raise HOA assessment fees, but lowering or raising the costs of operating VMS has a direct effect on those fees. When the cost of operating VMS exceeds 60% of the total annual HOA fees collected, VMS needs to show its owners, GRF, Third, and United, that they really are receiving the savings anticipated by not paying profit to a for-profit management company. Hopefully, our new ERP program will help VMS either show this or show us where operations can be improved to obtain better results. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Right on the dot. Okay. Dorothy,
Thank you
would
so
you
much.
like to start your concluding?
I look forward to working with VMS again. As I said, I was on the board in the past, but they particularly have a big task to do. And particularly when I have worked in $1 billion companies, I understand the big picture, the 50,000-foot level, and perhaps bringing a new perspective in terms of problem solving. And again, from the residents' perspective, that's what you hear all the time. And so there are times I just go crazy because there isn't the lack of awareness and education of what VMS does, and particularly to embrace how we can possibly do process improvement and really reach the next level wherever possible. So I look forward to serving you as your representative at VMS, and I look forward to partnering again with my friends in VMS. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so now we will entertain a motion to commence balloting. Elsie, you so move?
I so move.
And, okay, Elsie and Kathy. All right.
That was a move to commence balloting, yes?
Yes.
I move to commence balloting.
Thank you.
Yes. And now This is a very difficult call. You're both excellent candidates, and we thank you for coming today to be with us.
Thank you, Paul.
Okay, we are waiting for one more ballot. Okay, so now we entertain a motion to cease balloting.
I'll make a motion to cease balloting.
I'll second. And now, the staff and the board secretary will tabulate the ballots and announce the results. And I do apologize about the brevity of this. This is, we've had to fold it in to the board meeting. But fortunately, we worked with you both and had good experiences with both of you.
Okay, I'll go ahead and read the tallies. With 6 votes, we have Dorothy Pacella, and with 2 votes, Marie Collins. So Dorothy Pacella is your new VMS delegate.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming, and please apply again. You know, if we have openings, people change, and you're both excellent candidates, and we welcome you, Dorothy, and we'll work with you, Marie, on another instance. Okay, thank you. All right, we are now on to L, which is Tony's floor ceiling cross assembly issue. And Tony, how do you see this happening? Are you going to discuss this, or?
Well, Madam Chair, I'd like to inform the board here of the issue, and how it's, what our concerns are about the issue. That's why I'd like to proceed.
Okay, so this is a general discussion. We are not taking a vote at this time, is that correct?
Well, that'll be up to the board. The board has the power to take a vote or make a motion, but what I'd like to do is inform the board of the concerns. We have 6,323 memberships here in United, and I don't know how many of them are like me, live on the bottom floor. 1,000? I don't know. So it's a concern, and so if I may.
Yes, please do.
Okay. And the premise that we have been using, staff has been using, and the overall performance of a complete assembly can be arrived at by summing up the performance of individual layers making up the assembly is incorrect in practice. And the person that has given this expert, he's a really kind guy. He doesn't say it's wrong. He just says it's incorrect. The performance must be evaluated as the whole assembly. Another erroneous assumption is adding 208 improvement to the existing improvement to the existing baseline ratings would exceed the new proposed standard requirements of 57 decibels. Again, incorrect. Assumes that the performance of the subfloor alone can be added to the assembly. Finally, while the needs to be dealt with in front of residents, it is clear to me that the further discussion needs to be had in closed session as far as who has done this. But the thing is that we are, and I'm an advocate for the residents, and the reason why, there's two reasons. I live on the bottom floor, number one, and we're in violation of our present policy of our own bylaws. In our bylaws, it clearly states the purpose of United is to manage, maintain, preserve, and administer the business of a common interest developments, specifically a stock corporation, to promote the health, safety, and welfare of its residents within the development, and to engage in any business activity permitted under California law. So, and we have the statement of a highly qualified technician, and there's nobody in this building that has these qualifications that has gone through and given us this report, which I think everybody has, that we presently don't meet code. And I think it's something for the residents like myself to have to be dealt with, to deal with this hardwood flooring. And I know it was here when we talked about it a couple of months ago, people came in here and told us their horror stories. And so I think that the hard flooring issue on the second floor has to be dealt with. And again, if you look at the purpose of our United here is health, safety, welfare of its residents. And so we can't pit, like Third's doing, one resident against another. And another thing is if we're not living up to our purpose, then we, United as a corporation, is failure to perform, and it opens us up to a third-party lawsuit. So that's my thing about this hardwood flooring. It has to be dealt with, and the system that we have for coming up to meet code is incorrect. And if you read this gentleman, Mr. Pete is an expert on this. And we could have avoided all this had we brought in an expert on us, but we chose not to do that. So here we are. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to provide a little history, and then Murad, and then Maggie.
The chair is going to speak first.
May I? I'd like to just provide history for the new person. Okay. I know normally we wait till the end, but for the history, this was in our committee called Architectural Controls and Standards, and staff tried to come up with a sound system, a flooring that would meet those requirements to try to help the people below. And according to Mr. Allen, it's very difficult to do that. And so there were concerns about whether or not it had been met, because you would have to contest it, after the fact. There were concerns about that. This was sent back and forth to the Architectural Controls Committee, I think twice. And then it came again. And so that's kind of the history as I recall it. So now, I think, Murad, you had your hand up before Maggie? I think Maggie. Oh, Maggie, you had yours first? Okay.
Thank you. I looked through the Blue Book for any relevant cases. not in here. I looked through the book, blue book. These are our laws in here. There is nothing like that. There is nothing that says we have to retrofit our 65-year-old buildings to meet the new code in order now. We don't have to meet the new code in order now on almost anything because our structure was built when it was built. And to do this would be odious for every seller to either have to pay whatever it is, $20,000 to replace the hardwood floor on their second floor unit or to pass on to the new buyer. So that's an unjust and unfair thing. We should send that one out for a vote of the public. But we do not have the requirement to meet current codes on water, electricity, anything else, because we were built when we were built. I bought a house that was built I won't go on to that. Okay, so there are no regulations which I can find that say we must be up to code on this one issue when we are not required to be up to the latest code for new buildings. We are not new buildings. We are an old building. And so to say we have had 2 complaints, I guess, in the last year. I don't consider that odious enough to be a problem. So I don't think one decision was to put carpet on to throw rugs, and that was fine with that. I do not see that we owe this duty as if we were a new corporation building a new project. Thank you.
All right, the next person was Murad and then Elsie.
Thank you, Madam Chair. From reading that report and from other information I had read about the history of the village, it seemed like the original structure of the second story floor was not designed to accommodate hardwood flooring. It was designed originally for carpeting, and that's what the pictures from the 60s show. They knew back then that the decibels would be too high for anything but the carpeting, and that's why carpeting was there. Over time, people moved on to the latest and the best and latest, and that's the hardwood flooring. Very nice for first floor, not so much for the second floor. So I totally understand the SAGE report. And I just want to make sure I understand what the implications are. This would mean, I guess, that we would ban further installation of hardwood flooring on second floors. And would we then grandfather the ones already made? Is that okay? Thank you.
Director Addington. And then Jonathan will include you after Elsie.
Well, I just wanted to, I can verify with these eyes and this mind what Murad is saying, because I started hanging around in the Ville when I was 26 years old in 1976. And it was indeed, in fact, those pictures were funny. Everybody liked over-decorating in those days. But everybody had carpet. It was, so that's not a really great point, Mags, but your point is well taken. I think we can maybe just find a middle ground, like maybe, again, put it on a compliance basis. Maybe if you instruct people when they moved in to second floor places that's got hardwood, you either have to supply area rugs or you have to put in carpeting, one or the other for the new places. And mostly they can put the carpet over the existing flooring most of the time. So it's not, it's a beautiful bed to put your carpeting on. And Anyway, there's something in between that I think we could do, rather than go back and have everybody change. And I don't know that, according to this report, it doesn't sound like our standard 13, I believe it is why even bother having it, or at least look at it again if this guy's right and it's not going to make any difference, then why have it? Just too many rules. I'm just throwing that out there. So
Okay.
I think we can arrive at something. I agree with Tony that it needs to be addressed. I live in a second floor, and I have carpeting and area rugs, but that's just me. I don't like, because it also helps attenuate maybe that's not the right word, it helps with the noise inside your own manor. You'll be surprised how much quieter your manor is without all that. But anyway, that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. And then Jonathan?
From my understanding of the calculation for construction on the multi-level buildings, there is always additional factor of safety added on to the weight. So in spite of your opinion, which I respect, they added on, I don't know, a couple of 100 pounds of wood on the second or third floor really does not affect the structure.
Okay. All right, thank you. Maggie, one more?
Thank you. When you moved in, when this was built, we all had padded ceilings. We all had asbestos up there. Sound was not an issue. And so it still was not an issue, and it is still not an issue unless you have amended your own space and removed that soundproofing. And now you want the people above to have to change their floor because you have smoothed out your ceiling and you have a nice ceiling. So the people upstairs now have to pay for your amendment.
You don't walk on the ceiling, Maggie.
Okay, let's, Paul had his hand up, and then we're going to move on.
Yeah, when we are ready, we have 3-member comments.
Yes, okay.
Can the director be heard first?
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, we're not dealing with the issue of purpose. The purpose in our bylaws says to promote health, safety, welfare to its residents. And so now what you're suggesting to do, you're taking the side of somebody who's moving upstairs and the hell with the people downstairs. So you're going to have them fight. But since we're not living up to our purpose, it's stated in our bylaws, it's opened us up to a third-party lawsuit because we don't have a deed of title. We have a share of stock in a corporation. And so you can't ignore what's going on downstairs. And I'm not advocating any strict measures like take out the wooden floors. I just want the board to deal with this as a real-life situation. People downstairs. I lived downstairs for 12 years now, and I'm up to date on all my bills. And the guy moves in upstairs, the hardwood floors, and then I'm not going to fight him. I'm going to sue you for failure to perform. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tony. Now, let's hear from the people in the audience.
Okay, so we have 2 in person and 1 email. First person is Dick Rader.
Hi, Dick Rader, 270D. I live on the first floor, and I've had many resident changes with people upstairs. There is a problem. The idea was said that we would cause people to make changes. No, the changes would be for new residents. The others are grandfathered in, so let's make that clear. The reason why I don't make a complaint is because I don't want to get into an animosity situation with my upstairs neighbor, number one. Number two, is very expensive to bring in a sound technician, which the first floor person has to pay for. So, as I said, there is a problem. Now, there's pros and cons as to how to correct it. But I believe recently I read in the New York Times that carpeting is coming back in vogue. You know, designs change, right? So maybe that's maybe the issue. But again, there's pros and cons, because if you say to somebody, you're going to buy here, you're going to the second floor, you're going to have to put in carpeting, is that going to affect our sales? So I would suggest the following, that we don't, I feel, do enough. We have sister Cortese communities, Seal Beach, Walnut Creek. Why don't we, or have we ever, asked them, how have they resolved this problem for their multi-unit units? And if any of them have suggested carpeting for the upper units, has it affected their sales? In other words, do some homework. Those are my suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dick.
Okay, next speaker is Juanita Skillman.
Okay, I'm an upstairs unit. Tony, what you read to us that we are required to do is up to interpretation. I had carpeting in my unit. I tripped and fell on the area rugs, and I was told to take them out. There's a big difference between hardwood and laminate that has layers underneath that help to diminish the sound. So just saying hardwood instead of hard surface is a little bit different. And people who have walkers, wheelchairs, any kind of walking device, canes, whatever, find it difficult if they don't have a smooth surface. So that is the safety that they have to have according to our bylaws that we have to live up to. So again, it's interpretation on what is the safety. It's who's interpreting what that safety is. Don't.
Okay, thank you, Juanita. Dick, you can respond quickly, and then...
We got one more comment, though.
Oh, we have one more comment? Okay.
Very quickly, I appreciate what Juanita just said. I think she's correct. However, understand there are different types of carpeting. We're not talking about telling people that they have carpeting this thick. There are carpetings that are very thin. The important point is the underlayment, the thing, I forget what you call it, that you put down. And that's the thing that will really control the sound.
Okay, Paul, what's the list?
This is an email from Tom Tuning, former director of United. In May and June of 2025, the United Board of Directors passed Resolution 01-2563, Standard 9 Interior Flooring for the Second Floor Manors. While this resolution is a positive step, it does not resolve a major problem with the United Mutual. The noise generated from the second floor units with hard floor surfacing to the first floor units is a significant issue. This issue needs to be addressed to provide for the members of the first floor units to enjoy their occupancy. I believe that the United Boards of Directors and VMS should focus on resolving this problem with higher standards and procedures for the second floor flooring. In general, I submit this letter to the United Boards to express my support for the information and recommendations brought forward by Tony Mandel, a United Mutual member, and Anthony Liberatore, a United Board member. The noise generated from the hard flooring above first floor units requires your attention to achieve a better resolution. Thank you for all your time and effort in serving United Mutual members. Blessings.
Maggie, and I think, and then Kathy.
One more comment. Mr. We or ye is in the business of. And so how that person came to enter here and make this, I don't know, unless
How
it
can
was
you question?
Tony-
You cannot
Tony that
question
brought
this
it.
man.
Okay.
I
Now,
cannot-
stop it.
He is
Okay,
in the
point of
business
order.
of flooring.
We understand your issue. I think we don't need to fight about this. Let's move on. Kathy?
Okay, I moved into the village in 2011, and in 2013, when I remodeled, we were under PCM at the time. We, being upstairs units, could not put in hardwood floors. It could only be laminate flooring, and it had to be at a certain decibel. When we switched over to VCM, and the current boards at that time made a determination and changed the procedures to state upstairs units could now have hardwood floors. In the cul-de-sac I'm in my little building 864, there are 3 upstairs units who put in hardwood floors. 2 of the units literally almost came to blows. Security had been called several times. So the noise factor that Tony's talking about and that Director Blackwell is talking about, it's really very, very difficult when permission was given after the VMS staff and the current boards at that time said, yes, you can have hardwood floors upstairs. It really is a problem. I have carpeting because my neighbor downstairs, I like them, and the noise factor. And my other neighbors, it's an ongoing situation. I mean, I was even asked why I liked my next door neighbor when they were causing so many problems downstairs. And when they put in their throw rugs are less than 1/8 of an inch. So it does not abate any noise from downstairs. And it's really a serious issue. I'm not sure how it can be fixed at this point, and I'm really disappointed in the fact that the previous boards, once VMS came on board, started allowing people upstairs to actually have hardwood floors. It's, as Director Lipitori said, well, I can't think of the word I want to say, but the people downstairs, their living is horrible. And I have been in their units when people upstairs have walked, and I'm grateful I put in carpeting because my neighbors would hate me.
Okay, I am going to move that we have had this discussion, and it was helpful. We've heard from everyone. Now I'd like to move it back to architectural controls and standards. Have them review this information.
Perfect.
And then we can all, those of us that are interested, can attend that committee meeting and try to come up with a compromise that would address these issues, and perhaps even better education. With that, I move that. Is there a second?
Wait.
I'd like to
The
move.
chair is making a motion?
The chair is making a motion. It's fine.
Okay.
Okay, is there a second to move this back to?
We're not going to hear what staff has?
I am now going to ask the staff to address the issues. Alan, please talk.
First off, from an overall context, know that staff is very concerned of the overall wellness of the members. And we approached this standard 9 with that in mind. So for some context, let me just hand out the standard that's currently in effect so that you as boards can just review this information in context of what Director Lipitori is suggesting. So let me do that first.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alan.
I have a copy of this.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I've got this. That's old news.
So let me start by saying this is the standard that's currently in effect. We are, as staff, are totally open to whatever changes you would like to make. But before you investigate changes, it would behoove us all to be familiar with what's currently in effect. If you're asking to change that, we remain open to that, but we're asking what are your end results? What are you hoping to accomplish? Or what would you like to see changed in Standard 9? Or do you simply want to do away with Standard 9 altogether? With that said, let me try and address some of the things that I heard being discussed this morning. The introduction to your standard deals with Article 5 of the United Mutual Occupancy Agreement. That acknowledges quiet enjoyment. The challenge comes, how does that practically work out for us as United Mutual? How do we do that? Specifically with regards to flooring. We also acknowledge the testing methods. And if you look at section 3.4 and 3.5, it clearly establishes or acknowledges the only way to establish a definitive sound reduction is through a test. What this standard simply says is this standard is upgrading the testing requirements to make it better for the member on the ground floor. But if and when that comes into discussion, the only sure way to do that is through a test. If the two members can't work out an agreement, then it falls into Section 4, which is a very detailed grievance procedure. So that's what's in effect currently. But we remain open to any changes that the board would like to make. I only ask that you would once again review the standard that you currently have in place and address any changes or corrections or elimination in light of the standard that you have.
Thank you. Rod, Director Kisby.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's been 6 months since we adopted Standard 9. Is this enough time for us to build a history? What is your sense of the outcome of Standard 9 so far? Thank you.
The previous standard, without trying to be too technical, your previous standard addressed or established a decibel rating of 50 decibels. Decibels is simply a sound rating. Your current standard upgraded that decibel rating to a level of 57 decibels, which is a higher sound absorption rating. In the past 20 years, we checked with compliance. They've had 3 instances that elevated to a IDR or a dispute to where the floors were actually tested by an acoustical engineer. 2 of those tests tested with the existing flooring assembly, which we have now, tested in a 40 decibel rating. I don't know if there was a cross-section of, let me see where this is. A cross-section when we tried to explain to the member what is required where, what the member is responsible for, and what the existing conditions are. The cross-section of the existing structure, you can't do anything about. That's there. The only way to know for sure how that sound rating is to test it. We discussed that in the process coming up to this standard. It's about $1,500 to $1,800 a test to do this work. The challenge is, as mentioned earlier, there's 6,000 members here. You probably have several different variations of buildings. Each one technically would have to be tested. Rather than the mutual absorb that cost for testing each building, if and when a complaint occurs, it was left up to the member then to decide and go through that process. I may have gotten sidetracked on your question. Did I answer your original question?
So we did raise the threshold from 50 decibels to 57.
Correct.
Correct. So my question was, have we had any instances where Standard 9 came into effect since we adopted it last June?
Not since this has been adopted.
We have not. Okay.
No, in the past 20 years, we've had 3.
All right, so last 6 months we had none, so.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay, Tony.
Madam Chair, thanks for the idea. I would be amenable to sending this back to Architect Control and Standards Committee because we're still not dealing with the issue, and the issue being as been stated also by some directors here, of the trauma that people are facing downstairs. We can't ignore that. It's a fact. And we have to deal with that. Again, according to our bylaws, it says health, safety, and welfare of its residents. So evidently we agree to disagree.
Right.
And so, yes, I could be amenable to sending it back to Architectural Control and Standards Committee for some further intelligence. And one thing I will not stand for, and that's to put me against the upstairs guy. I'm not going to get in a fight when I can go and sue this corporation for failure to perform. Thank you.
Thank you. I wanted to speak on this, and I know this is, I was serving on the Architectural Controls and Standards Committee at the time we did this. And, you seriously studied trying to find flooring that would be appropriate to meet those sounds requirements. My problem with it was that this was Scout's honor. You come in and you say, I'm going to put this flooring in, and I am going to put that undercoat in, but nobody goes in and checks it. Nobody inspects it to see, is that really what they put down? And so I had asked Director Tom Tooney at that time to tell me what they did in Denver, Colorado. There's like a sister HOA in Denver. Can't think of the name of it, and he's very active in that area. And they required people to come in, inspections, to make sure that they really did put it in and that it was working. So I think we could look at something like that, and we could also look at, for new people, maybe we could require that they do the sound testing for new upgrades. I don't know. Those are all things that could be decided at the committee level and then brought back to us. So if there are no further discussion items, I think we're ready to vote on this. And I'm sorry for your long suffering on this topic, but I think it's going to continue for a while longer. Yes.
If
Alan.
I may, if you're going to vote to go back to committee, and we're happy to do that. My question is, what are you looking for? We've examined this. We've gone through the process, examining building codes, examined flooring products, examined what is considered acceptable, what is not, from a multitude of sources, and developed this standard. We certainly don't mind looking at it, but I would ask, in order not to spend additional time unnecessarily, what specifically are you hoping to accomplish by doing that? And we're open. But know that extensive research into all these issues has gone on to put this current standard into effect. So if we relook at it, what are you hoping to? If you give me a yes or no or an A or B, we'll be happy to do that. But let me put it differently. I would request that you be specific with your requirements going back to further review.
I would think that that was the role of the committee in their discussion to come up with those suggestions as to what to find. I mean, there were several. I had several. Dick had several to contact other sister HOAs and find out what they are doing that works. So I don't think we can tell you specifically other than the things that we have suggested.
Then I am not sure what you're hoping to get from us. I need specific direction. Let me address the issue of carpeting. This current standard does not restrict the member from putting in carpeting or putting in flooring. It only states that whatever you put in, it needs to meet the sound requirements. That gives new members the flexibility to put in the flooring of their choice, provided that if and when tested, you need to meet the standards. That's all your current standard says. So if you want to change it, I'm open. But you need to give me.
Director Gisby.
Madam Chair, maybe, given what you said, maybe we should start with what Dick Rader rightfully suggested. Why don't we have a comparative study that shows what we have versus Seal Beach and Walnut Creek, just to see what's out there, because we just don't know. We're working maybe, I'm not suggesting working in a vacuum, but I think it would be helpful to see what other HOAs of similar size are doing, and start with that point, a data point, and see what they're doing. If they're doing exactly what we're doing, then we're done. If they're doing something different, maybe we should explore that a little more.
I apologize for interrupting. I can tell you right now what Seal Beach does.
Okay.
They simply have a carpet standard on the second floor.
So they're not allowing hardwood floors?
They're not allowing anything other than carpet.
What about Walnut Creek?
I don't know about Walnut Creek.
Okay, Tony had his hand up first.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think my son lives in Seal Beach, so you're correct, it's carpet. What I was hoping to do is a compromise to rediscuss this in Architect for Control and Standards Committee, because, first of all, the only real way to determine sound level is by testing. You can't add up these different layers and come up with a decibel. AIIC says that you have to be tested at the site. You don't want to do it, it costs a lot of money. But the thing is, there's a lot of things that cost money. We can put holiday lights around stop signs and all that stuff, but we can't do what's right for our constituents. So I'm worried about keeping peace with our residents. And so what I would do with staff then is try to investigate something. How do we deal with this? We don't want to punish people who already have hardwood floors, but we want to prevent it from going in again. And I don't want to be fighting the guy upstairs. And again, I don't have a deed of title. I have a share of stock in the corporation. And that's where I'm going to go. I'm not going to fight the guy upstairs if he comes in and puts something on the floor I don't like and causes me. So I do what you want, but I'm willing to rediscuss it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Maggie.
Thank you. We is the company that wishes to replace all our upstairs flooring.
No, it's not.
You're
wrong.
It is.
You're wrong.
It is a flooring company.
He is not.
My question is.
Is it sound engineer?
It's outright. That's not right.
Look him up.
Okay, point
Look
of
'em up.
order. Let's not besmirch people.
My question is, what is Third's regulation?
Third has passed the same standard that you have.
As we currently have?
This standard 9 is also in effect in third.
Thank you. I'm sorry, we have appointments this afternoon that we have to meet, and so we're going to have to conclude discussion. I think you've got a good starting point, Ellen, and with trying to find out what other entities do, trying to find out if they, the testing of this and verification of if they put this in, are they really putting in what they think is right? You'll work with the committee on that. So all.
But yeah, we'll have to vote on this one too, Wayne.
Pardon me?
We'll have to vote on the screen right now.
Yes, and for right now, this is the motion to send it back to committee to continue to work.
Elsie, if you don't mind voting, please.
You want to abstain?
I'm sorry, what is it?
It's to send this back to committee for further work.
I thought that, but I voted for the wrong thing before, sorry. I was researching.
Okay. All right, so did you vote?
I did.
No?
Okay, there we go. All right. All right. Thank you for your patience on this. It is an important issue. It's also an emotional issue. So we will move on now. I think what's going to happen is that we're going to have to forego the committee, United Committee reports and the GRF committee reports.
Did you want to just do the finance and just get it over with? Since
Well,
that's the most important one.
I think Murad, what do you want to do on this?
I think we skipped all of the committee reports.
Okay.
Yes, okay. We did do a town hall recently, as of last Friday, that kind of explained where we're spending our money, and we will certainly do this at the next meeting to make sure
And
that
it's
it
just
happens.
the November numbers, so next time we'll do the December, which is year end.
Oh, perfect. Okay. All right, thank you very much. So we are on we are now to future agenda items. Are there other items that we would like us to take up at the next meeting?
So for future agenda, we're just putting in the stuff that's on 28-day notice. So when we go to agenda prep, that's when we can add stuff to the future agenda.
Okay.
In this case, it's just the item that was on 28 days, that policy, I believe.
Okay, all right, perfect. Director's comments. Let's start with Jonathan. This is your first experience. It's been a doozy. Welcome to the board.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate the welcome. I have had a great experience so far from the members as well as the constituents. I'm a member of this village, and I'm excited and to be a part of something that improves our community, our life. I work all my life like the rest of us, so we can enjoy the retirement. And this is by all means a retirement community. I'm getting to know the clubs and certain group of people. I've been involved in different clubs so far. I can't wait to join several clubs that have been kind of like a long list. I want to experience horse riding, for instance. And I was told it's going to be 6 to 9 months before they get to my name. Things like that. And it's just either come to a village or leave the state. That was the choice between my wife and I, really. When we visited here first time, we just fell in love. It seems like as soon as you pass this gate, it's just you enter a fantasy land, by all means. And now that I hear the real issues, it's like gives me additional charge that I'm happy to be a part of it, to make those improvements and make sure, because, you know, most of my life I lived in a single house, so I never had people upstairs to experience that. I've heard of the people who live on the second floor and the third floor having a little trouble because the noise level, the kids jumping, or things like that. But I never thought here I'm going to hear that type of issue as well. So I was very quiet to understand and trying to see, because I live in a single house here as well. So for me, it's like, maybe I should go and experience that and firsthand see how does it feel like. I'm very, very sure it's very difficult to sit on the floor at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night and somebody is walking grump, 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 you know, with their cane or whatever else is. And even though this is a 55 plus, we can turn it off, but not all of us have that advantage.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Of course.
Okay, Kathy? Any comments? Okay. Anthony?
Said enough.
Okay. Maggie? Do you have any comments?
No comments, thank you.
No comments.
Okay.
Oh, yes, I'll plug my club. Robert's Rules of Order, if John can plug his club, then Robert's Rules of Order, and Sue and Anthony can plug that one too.
Okay.
And so is Jonathan.
Okay,
so.
thank you. Elsie?
No, thank you. Nice meeting, and it was really nice hearing that from Jonathan.
Yes. Staff, do you have anything you'd like to add? I felt the same way when I came here. To me, it looked like a Monopoly board designed by Walt Disney. And I really, really am very glad to be here. So thank you, everyone. We're in recess, and it is now 12:34. So we'll reconvene at 1. We'll go have lunch right now. Thank you so much.